Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Speaking of Zane. It is June 7th. This happens to be the 335th edition of Speaking of Zane. We've not done it every week, but we've done it most weeks since about August of 2018. But good to have you all in there. Before I get started, keep Daryl in your prayers. Daryl's a regular attendee at Speaking of Zane. Daryl lives in the St. Louis, Missouri area. Daryl had to go to the hospital, what was it, this morning or last night? And treating him for AFib and some other heart-related stuff. But I just chatted with him, texted with him just a few minutes ago, and he's in good spirits, says he's okay. But everybody keep him in your thoughts and your prayers until he gets home. He's an 80-year-old man, and he is absolutely a patriot. I mentioned last time that Lori and I got to spend some time with him at my headquarters in St. Louis, and he came out and joined us for Memorial Day activities. So hope he'll continue to recover in over the coming days. Let's see. I always like to talk about birthdays. I know there's been some birthdays, and I can't remember. I think my mother-in-law, Carol, recently had a birthday, and Lori may pipe in. I don't know exactly how old she is, but she was very young when she had Lori. Kind of like my folks, pretty young. My mom and dad had me when they were 18. I think Lori's mom may have been 17, something like that. But happy birthday to my mother-in-law. Let's see. We could travel. No surprise there. It seems like travel a week, home a week, travel a week, home a week. But I did go out to Las Vegas for most of this last week for a tech conference. The size of these tech conferences, like I'm talking like 25,000 attendees, and there's only so many places in the country that can accommodate a venue that can support that number of people and accommodations and all the other stuff. Oh, Stan's birthday. Yes, Stan's birthday. Stan is Lori's stepfather, Carol's husband, Stan. Yeah. Also a retired Air Force guy. But anyway, there's only so many places that can support these size of tech conferences that I've been going to for the last 30 some years. Las Vegas happens to be one. And that's where we were at. The other ones that are pretty typical for a group that size are San Francisco, San Diego, Orlando. Usually it's those, San Francisco, San Diego, Orlando, Las Vegas, that can support something the size of 25,000 attendees. And usually, and this particular company is called Cisco Systems, CISCO. And they do one of these sort of a user conference every year. And they do it every year. And it's got to be at one of those places. And they usually do a multi-year contract with the venues. And this particular venue I've been at a dozen times for this conference, and it will be back at the same place next year, Las Vegas. I like it when it's in San Diego, where it was at last year. The weather's much better, and a lot of the activities and events can be outside. Vegas, very little is outside. It's so doggone hot. But anyway, it's another successful tech conference, and I did a little activity in our booth, and we were the premier sponsor for the event and all that stuff. But the most exciting part of the week for me was a social hour that we had on Tuesday afternoon from 4:30 to 6:30, and it's a social hour between Cisco military veterans and Worldwide Technology military veterans. And I've been coordinating that now for the last couple of years. This was the third year that we've done that. Really, really big turnout this time, 50, 60 people. Cisco veterans, WWT veterans, customers, other partners. So that was the primary reason I went. So it was very successful. But always good to get home from Vegas for sure. Always feel like I need a shower. when I leave that place. But so I'm home for the next 2 weeks actually, which is nice. I don't remember the last time I was home for 2 consecutive weeks, but I will be. I'm going to resist the urge because there's plenty of places I could go, plenty of reasons I could go somewhere, but I'm going to be home for a couple of weeks running, and which would be nice. I can get caught up on some things, work and home, and then the third week out, I'll be back in St. Louis. We've got a group of our academy, actually two groups that are graduating at the end of June. I think that week of June 21st or 22nd, something like that. So I'll be back out there for that, and we have all of our probably 30 total graduates of this program that are coming into St. Louis, and we'll spend a week together, celebrate their success, and send them off into the world, kind of thing. This is cohort number 6 and 7. I think it's our 5th formal graduation ceremony, and we've got a group that we're calling cohort number 8 that just started. So very successful, and I'll continue to do this type of work. But let's see. I have had a chance to relax since I got home on Thursday. I've been able to catch up on the Braves, watch some baseball. Braves won today. Nice come from behind, beating the Pirates. And they're in first place still, 9.5 games up on the Phillies. So, and I think they've had their best. This is 66 games they've played, and I think this is the second or third quickest to this record. They're 45-21, so doing pretty good. And they had an afternoon game today. A little bit of rain around here today. The rain today kept me from doing a 10-mile walk. Last weekend, I did a 10-miler on Sunday to get myself conditioned for this 50-miler, and the 10-miler went awesome, by the way. 2 hours and 44 minutes, and I wasn't at an accelerated pace. Everything was good. And I did 5 miles out, 5 miles back. I did it on the Silver Comet Trail. So the conditions are great. It's a paved, 12-foot wide, paved trail. Used to be an old rail bed, runs about 60-some miles. But I didn't do the 60 miles, obviously. But anyway, I'm preparing for the 50 miles that I'll do from Lincoln to Omaha. So I didn't get to do my 10-miler today, which I was excited about. I had planned to do it. I told Lori yesterday, but the weather forecast shifted, and right about the time I would be just less than halfway through, it was 90% chance, and it did come down. So I probably should have gone ahead and done it, but I'll this next weekend I'll get another chance to do it, and I may increase that to 15. We'll see how I'm feeling, but I felt really good on it on the ruck last Sunday, and I expected to be in the 3-hour range, and but 2 hours and 44 minutes. So, and it felt really good. No blisters, no chafing, no respiratory, none of that. Everything's good, knock on wood. So I'll keep conditioning myself until late August for the official 50 miler. Let's see what else. In addition to the 50 miler, we're also doing the 5K, which you guys know about. I've got my teams lined up in the UK and in Amsterdam. When I'm there, the first 2 weeks of August, we'll do that. So that'll be good. And Lori's planning to come with me. And that's about it for what's going on around here. We've had our little grandson Everett here for the weekend. How old is he, Lori? 10? He's our daughter Hannah, the Army veteran. He's Hannah's son, and he's awesome. He's awesome. But he and Lori went swimming yesterday at the pool, and then they went to the movie today. He's 9. Okay, not quite 10, but he's smart as 10. He's smarter than 10 actually, but 9 years old. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week always has something to do with what the heck is going on around here at the fabulous McDonald's Estate and Insane Asylum. And because yesterday was the 82nd anniversary of D-Day, I was trying to find one of my hats that had something to do with World War II, and I found my 8th Air Force hat. Of course, the 8th Air Force was based in the UK here in World War II, all throughout England, primarily East Anglia and Suffolk County, East Anglia, northeast of London. That whole area is littered with RAF bases, American Air Force bases, and that's where the air war was primarily executed from. So anyway, I found one of my 8th Air Force caps, and that's why that is today's hat of the week. And then the predominant this day, this week in military history, obviously dominated by D-Day and the celebrations, 82nd. There are still a few hanging on that were part of that, but we're losing them in great numbers every day. Very few World War II veterans left. You figure that's 82 years since D-Day. So 82, if they were 20, they'd be 102, right? If they were 19, they'd be 101. If they were 18, they'd be 100 years old. And of course, that's a little bit longer than the average lifespan, but there are some, and I saw in the news, there are some that made the trip even. And I know there were some celebrations there in Normandy and other places. But yeah, that was incredible, D-Day. If you don't know anything about D-Day or the history or the planning, the logistics, the execution, it's fascinating. It was a different time for sure, and it took sheer numbers to overcome, and many of them did not make it off the beach. Just an incredible assault there, and unfortunately, many didn't make it and are still interred there in Normandy. We owe them a debt of gratitude. That generation was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if they just didn't know any better or they just had this tremendous sense of duty. I think it was a mixture of all of that, but it was certainly a different time. And boy, can you imagine if we didn't have a population of young men and women that were willing to go into the unknown like that. Actually, I say unknown, but you think about the odds, it was kind of a known that many of them were not going to survive it. And you did it anyway. It's incredible. All right. Well, I don't have any numbers for our Veteran Cemetery Challenge. I know that many of you regularly attend or visit some of the cemeteries that are near you and chronicle that, and we try to calculate that. I don't have any numbers for that lately, but I did pull together some Think a Vet Challenge numbers. I know we've been hit and miss over the last couple of months, but I simply took the ones I know for myself since we were last calculated them, and that exceeds 20. And then this past week was at least 20. So I'm giving myself 40. And then last week, Steve chimed in that on the most recent cruise that he and Kathy were on, he had 21 just on that cruise. So that's 61. And that takes our number, if I just add those, that takes our number over the 4,000 mark, which we were in pursuit of. So 4,014 times somebody, a veteran, an active duty service member, a first responder, has heard from one of us, a relatively small group, thank you, or I appreciate you, or what'd you do in the military? So thank you guys for coming alongside. It's pretty cool that we can say over 4,000 people have heard that expression from one of us over since 2018, whenever we started. So it's good stuff. I do see a lot in the airport, and I get to interact with a lot there. So, but I appreciate you guys coming alongside. And that's about all I have for an update. I mentioned the 50 miler. I mentioned the 5K. I mentioned Daryl. Daryl has agreed on Facebook to keep us updated, and he does a good job of posting. So I'm sure he'll keep us updated on his status and everything. But it sounds like he's in good spirits there. But I know he'll keep us updated. Awesome. All right, Ken, thank you. Yeah. If you calculate yours, we'll try to true everything up next week and make sure we're accurate on our count, and then away we go. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a pot roast in the slow cooker downstairs. I have had some of it already, but I put that bad boy in this morning, and it's been going all day. It's one of the best I've had in a while. One of the best I've made in a while. It's got a roast, some beef broth, onion, jalapeno. Don't let that scare you, Lori. It's not too hot, just enough for flavor. Garlic, some crushed tomatoes, a little bit of tomato sauce, and some cabbage. And it is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go down and have another bowl of that, and try to get my self-positioned for an awesome week at work. I'm looking forward to it. Not traveling, being home, and getting a few things done. But I look forward to meeting up with all of you again next Sunday, and hopefully we'll have a really good report on Daryl and his recovery, and we look forward to that. We'll see everybody later. Cheers.